Alright, everybody, story time. In 2018, I had probably been incarcerated in northern Wisconsin, in the jail, still fighting my case, not knowing when I was going home, for probably around a year. It might have been a little less, might have been a little more. I don't remember the exact date that this happened, but the town oil refinery, which is giant, was exploding. So we wake up in the morning. Our morning routines there are, before we eat breakfast and to get the TVs on, everyone has to, not everyone, it only takes probably like 10 or 15 people to do it, but to clean the entire day room, which we had a pretty big one, there's lots of people in this jail, but so we do that, we get our trays, and they throw on the news, right? There's a camera at the oil refinery, and everything is on fire and things are exploding. So they go on to say that the entire town needs to evacuate because if the main, I don't even know what you would call it, boiler maybe, if like the main tower there exploded, it was going to flatten, destroy, and kill everything in the city that we were in and most of the surrounding outskirt cities. This place was giant. So before we can go and get on the phones and talk to our people, make sure that they're okay, and make sure that our children are gonna have plans to be escorted out of the blast radius, they lock us in our cells like animals, right? The anxiety sitting in there, I felt like I was having auditory hallucinations. I couldn't tell if I actually was having them or not, but I could hear like explosions from my cell. This oil refinery is, I believe it's less than a mile from the jail that I was incarcerated in. So hours go by, they hear nothing. This one CO that's super cool, her name was Wickersham, shout out Wickersham. She was one of the only COs that truly cared about us, right? She starts coming around to the doors and being like, you guys have any questions, blah, blah, blah. And rumors started to go around the jail, like in direct the dorm that I was in, that they were going to do like a conditional evacuation of the jail. They were just going to let everybody out to their families. And then you would either have to return yourself in back to the jail after it was safe, or they'll come collect you. That didn't end up happening, and I think most of us knew that that didn't happen because these jails, they don't want to spend extra money on resources, even if your life is at stake here, which it absolutely was. If that oil refinery would have exploded, they would have lost the company, whoever owns the jail, the city, whatever, would have lost probably millions of dollars in lawsuits because they should have evacuated us. They should have a protocol in place for something like that, and maybe have like a coach bus or coach buses or even school buses that can be readily available at least within a day to get all the inmates handcuffed and get them out safe to a town. There's some people in there who stole like a sandwich and went to jail, or got caught with like a gram of weed and went to jail that night without bonding out the next morning. Can you imagine if they would have died? All of us, and no matter what our charges, well, that's debatable. But anyways, this was one of the worst days in there ever. The anxiety was insane. Just kind of wondering, sitting, waiting, and wondering, talking to my cellie, and everyone's yelling through the doors, trying to figure out what's going on. If you guys want to Google this event, it was called the Husky Oil Refinery explosion. I believe that's what it was called at the time. I got out and looked at the videos of what was actually happening there, and it was insane. And I'm very grateful that the entire compound didn't explode because it was insanely close to exploding. Luckily, my girlfriend and her family and all of my family went to her mom's house, which is in the next town over, but it's so far back in the town that they would have been okay if an explosion happened. And I'm just glad that, you know, my son and everybody was able to get out of there safe. I don't think there was any casualties. I think maybe actually there was for people who were there initially when the explosions went off, or like firefighters or something. But if there is, rest in peace to those people. I might do like a longer form version of this, but I just wanted to get you guys something quick. I don't feel too good today. I just left school early actually because my son has a fever of 103, and I think that I'm getting the same thing that he does, but I'm going to go pick him up from the babysitters and bring him home because he's having a rough day. But thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Get you some good content out here. Thanks.